Hey, guys, this is your girl, Dr. Avis, and this is a very special evening I have tonight planned with you because I have a very special guest right here with me. This is my son, Guy DeWeaver, the second.
There you go.
Hey there, Guy. You want to say hi to the peeps?
Sure. Should do you want me to introduce myself now or?
Well, we can wait. Let's wait. Let's allow people to come into the room a little bit because it takes a minute for people to come in. Hey guys, go ahead and say something in the chat. I'll know you there. As you're coming in, I'm going to quickly introduce myself before we get this party started. So my name is Dr. Avis, and I am a media monetization mentor. That means that I help entrepreneurs understand how to leverage the power of media in order to drive more leads to their businesses and more bank to their bottom lines. I am super excited about tonight's conversation because I have on tap tonight a conversation that I think is very, very important. Anyone who knows me knows that I am passionate about the importance of building legacy through your business, building intergenerational wealth through your business. But I want you to know that intergenerational wealth is just the tip of the iceberg. There is so much more that is necessary in terms of how you can build up your children's success. And so, hey there, everybody. Hey there, Oren. How you doing? Oren is a brand new moneymaker, Guy. Oren. And Oren is a worldwide chess champion. Guy used to play chess when you were we started. When you were 3, I remember you were pre-primary, you on the chess team or something.
Yeah. I still play from time to time when I get time. I love playing chess.
Awesome. So I wanted to do a live tonight, you guys. Oh, before I continue going, I forgot to say, hey, I'm also the creator of the Perfect Media Pitch Masterclass. How did I leave that out? Okay. I don't know how I left that out. So you can go to perfectmediapitch.com. That's perfectmediapitch.com to get information and sign up for the next class, because that's where the magic starts for so many of my clients. We do hundreds of thousands of. Now, with that said, let's go ahead and talk about tonight. Hey guys, in the building, I have Belinda. I have Dr. Gail. How you doing, Dr. Gail? How you guys doing? Or it says chess for life. I hear you. Chess is life. I hear you. So listen, we wanted to talk tonight about the importance of what I call intergenerational entrepreneurship, right? Hey, Joelle. You remember Joelle? Got it probably little. So Joelle worked with me at NCNW. You might remember back in the day. And
yeah.
Victoria's in the house. Oh, I'm so happy to see all these clients and former coworkers and peers. It's so great to see you all. So let me tell you about the reasoning behind this particular live. Thank you. Dr. Gail says she's looking forward to hearing from us both. So listen, as I mentioned, this particular live is all about intergenerational entrepreneurship. Now, here's the thing. I think that oftentimes we focus on intergenerational wealth, which is absolutely positively important. But I want you to know, and let me just give you a few tips and information about why it's so important before I get down into the nitty gritty, because I was doing some research on this today, and it's really sad, okay, and disturbing where we are specifically as a Black community when it relates to this particular issue. So according to some research out there, up to 60% of Black middle class families will have their children actually, when they become adults, actually fall out of the middle class. So 60% of Black children right now who are growing up in Black middle class families will actually fall below middle class once they become adults. That's a damn shame. Yeah. It's sad, it's frightening, it's angering, it's a damn shame. It's the complete opposite of what we want for our children, right? We want our children to do better than we did. We do not want them to fall below where we were, right? And so this is why the issue of intergenerational wealth to me is so important, because it's about being able to give your children a little cushion, right? To give them a little push forward, to give them something so that they are not starting from ground zero when they reach adulthood. It's helping them to be able to have wealth from the beginning, from which they can springboard off and continue to produce good fortune for themselves. But I have to tell you, to me, intergenerational wealth should just be part of the goal. I think in addition to straight up wealth building and having the ability to transfer wealth to your children, just as important is nurturing wealth building acquisition capabilities in your children. If you're the only one who knows how to do it, have you really given them the tools that they need to be able to do it for themselves in the future, right? Have you given them the tools that they need to take what you are able to give them? Hopefully, you're able to give them some wealth. Are they able now to take what you've given them and actually run with it and grow it, right? So, I wanted to talk today about this issue of building intergenerational entrepreneurship, right? Intergenerational success in your businesses, and why it's not just good for your business, which I believe is also good for your business, but at the same time, it's good for your children and it's good for their future success. So I figured rather than to talk about it just myself, running off at the mouth like I often do, I would bring in my amazing, incredible, brilliant son here, Guy DeWeaver, to talk about some of his experiences of working in my business from day one and the lessons that he's learned watching a business grow from startup to seven figures plus, actually now a multi seven figure business, watching it grow. Yes, watching it grow from startup to multi seven figures and having him actively involved in it every step of the way. What lessons has he learned from that? And how has he been able to apply those lessons to some of the things that he has been able to do at his very ripe old age of under 25. Okay, he still hasn't hit his 25th birthday yet. And how that has helped to sort of leverage other types of success for him as he is starting off his life right. Okay. So with that said, hi, Guy, welcome.
Thanks, Mom. It's great to have you. It's great to be here.
Yeah, great to have you here. So first of all, could you tell people a little bit about you? Who are you?
Sure. So my name is Guy DeWeaver II. I am a 2020 graduate of Virginia State University, which is my mom and my dad's alma mater. I'm a third generation legacy at the school. While I was at Virginia State University, I was highly involved in not only my mom's business, but also different entrepreneurial pitch, speech, and case study competitions. I ended up being able to take some of the skills that I learned from working with my mom and actually used those in real world settings and use those to be able to win 4 national pitch, speech, and case study competitions while I was still in undergrad. I was also able to do a whole bunch of internships while I was there. And I'm currently a dual degree MBA and Master's of Art and Design Thinking student at Johns Hopkins University. I have both those degrees by 2022. So that's essentially who I am.
Awesome. Well, great. Thanks for introducing yourself. Before we move forward, I want to acknowledge some people in the feed that want to specifically say to you.
Okay.
So Valerie Chapman is in the house. She remembers you when you were a little guy. We were in graduate school together. So you definitely don't remember her. You're like, but she remembers. Your cousin Rochelle is in the house. She's saying hi. Kitty Cheney's in the house. VSU. Okay, VSU is in the house. Wonderful to see you all. Hey there, April. Another one of my clients is in the house. So glad to see you all. So he has been doing, you're right, you've been doing amazing things. Now let's talk a little bit, let's break this down a little bit, you guys, in terms of how Guy has been infused in my business from day one, what he's done, and what I suggest you do with your children and your business. And we'll talk some more about, absolutely, you got that right, Mike. Very proud mother, another money maker. And what that means to me about, what you can learn about infusing your children and your business as well. Now, I want to first say of all, I believe that this idea of including your children in the business from day one is a gift. I want you to think of it as a gift, contextualize it as a gift. It is a gift to your business, right? But it's also a gift to that child in terms of the confidence, the experience that it gives them. From the very beginning, Guy, I have to say, though, has exemplified an interest in business, even as a second grader. What did you do when you were in second grade, Guy? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I got shut down by the school, by the man, but I essentially had a paper airplane business, right? So my dad taught me how to make a couple really cool paper airplanes. So I brought a couple to school. We started playing games with them, right, with my paper airplanes, but then other people wanted some too. So I think I was charging like $1 or $2 for different airplane models, and it just went like that until the school said I wasn't allowed to solicit at school anymore.
So the man shut him down in the second grade.
Shut him down.
But what I loved about that is it showed that he had from the very beginning sort of an internalized like entrepreneurial spirit. I wasn't telling him to go out there and sell his paper airplanes to the other kids, but he came up with that idea and he started making them in different colors, making different types of paper airplanes. He was apparently a good salesman at that time, because I understand what happened was that he was selling them on the playground. Kids were spending their lunch money. Instead of buying lunch, they were buying paper airplanes. So that might have been a problem. That might be a problem. Kids were hungry, okay? But the point is, he exemplified an interest in entrepreneurship at a very young age. And I believe that as parents, our responsibility is not to impose our joys, our ambitions, those things that we wish we would have done when we were younger on our kids. It's our job to figure out what their interests are and then fertilize it. And this is an example. I have 2 boys. I love both of my boys. My youngest boy is not that interested in entrepreneurship, and he's very, very, very private. So, even though he doesn't even like to have his picture, for example, on Facebook, right? So you might notice that I post a lot about Guy because he's more outgoing and he has been more involved in the business. But I'm not going to throw this down the throat of my youngest, although my business has provided the means to which my youngest has his first job. His very first job is with my business and in my business. He likes that, okay? That's his interest in terms of how he interacts with my business. But G has been there from the very beginning. So when I first started many, many years ago, well before COVID, at a time when I was just sort of entering into the online entrepreneurial space, because it was an ambition of mine to have a business that would allow me to have location freedom, he started building, like, in essence, sales funnels for me. He was online trying to figure out funnels. If those of you who are in the business, y'all know what that is. So from the very beginning, you were pretty active. Now, how did you feel about that when we were doing things like that with you? And I think you were maybe in like middle school at that point, right? Or maybe high school. You were really young.
Yeah, I think it was early high school, but I didn't really understand the scope. I mean, I remember I think you went out of town or whatever, and you kind of had a project for me to do while you were gone. I had like a week or so to do it. Basically, I mean, now I understand that's a contract employee, right? A contract. So. But to me, I didn't understand the scope. I mean, you said I'll pay you a certain amount of money for you to do this. I said, okay, I'll take the money. I did it. And I just like I said, I just didn't really understand the impact of what I was doing and really how it would affect your business in the long run. But what I knew at the time was it's a couple $100. I could use the money. I could go out and could buy a new pair of shoes, whatever. So it's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. And the thing was, your business is going to evolve. Your business is going to change. So he started out doing things like that in my business, went up to the point where we were doing live events, and he was there helping every step of the way with the live events, even taking part on stage, as you saw, and some of the pictures that I posted earlier today. He was also involved in helping with the events that I would do in terms of the retreats that I have with my clients, helping to set up, helping to serve my clients. He's been there every step of the way, including this level of my business, where under COVID, obviously everybody's business has changed. So it's been even more heavily focused to online work, and has been a strong contender a strong team member in my business all the way up until he started going to graduate school full time. Now, one of the things I will say, though, is that from that, you have had very practical and a very first of all, you've developed sales skills that are beyond your years, I believe. And that's been through a couple of different ways. It's been very intentional. I'll say this. I've told God this ever since he was much younger, that my goal for him was to be able to provide him with the experiences of a 40-year-old by the time he was 20.
Yeah.
That's been my goal. Yeah. My goal has been to invest in experiences for him so that by the time he was 20, he would know things that I didn't know until I was 40, right? And so what that looked like was whenever I would invest in my professional development in terms of learning things to make my business better, I would make sure that he was exposed to those opportunities, even if that meant paying extra to have him as part of those professional opportunities. So he was exposed to, for example, sales trainings that millionaires were getting when he was a teenager, right? Late teens,
Yeah.
going to those trainings? Absolutely. Absolutely. So what was it like to have that sort of insider view on, in the room with real deal entrepreneurs at that young age, learning skills that you could then apply later on in life?
Yeah, I remember the first time that you brought me to one of those events, and I mean it was just shocking. I mean, the average person never gets a chance to really rub elbows with millionaires, to be in those types of spaces, to learn those types of skills that the average person just doesn't know, and to be able to get that so young, I think it just really opened my eyes to how much more is out there, and how much more there is to know and how much more money there is to be made in this world. There's a saying that, the more you know, the more you understand that you need to know. Right.
Mm.
So more than anything else, being in those rooms kind of showed me that, expanded my horizons for what I thought was possible. Even though I saw you doing incredible things, there's still, you know, other people out there that's doing just as incredible as you are. In some cases, was doing better at the time, right? Making multi-million dollars, 10 million a year. It was to sum it up, I would say it was very eye-opening.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think thinking back around an internship that you had with, what was it, Northwestern Mutual?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
tell again, so how did you do with the sales? So explain what you did in Northwestern Mutual in that one summer in that internship, and talk a little bit about your performance during
Yeah.
that.
So I'll start here. The way I heard about the internship is there was a graduate from our school that came back to talk about what he was doing as a full-time employee, right? He was a financial advisor at Northwestern Mutual, and he told us, he was like, listen, there's someone in the internship that made $30,000 over last summer, right? Now, this internship is all about financial advising, all about insurance. So, but when I heard $30,000, I said, sign me up. I applied, I got the job. No, for real, I applied, I got the job. And then when I got in the room, I realized that I was the only non-traditional major there. So what I mean by that is the room was full of finance majors, economics majors, of accounting majors. And here I am as a marketing major and a first year marketing major at that, right? Competing with these other students that this is what they want to do. This is what they have been training for. This is what they're going to school for, right? So I felt like I was at a disadvantage because I didn't have that direct skill set, but I was able to leverage what I did know, right? And what I did know was sales. What I did know was relationship building. What I had been exposed to as a lot of money might not be what they thought was a lot of money, right? It might have been a lot of money for me is a lot higher than a lot of money for them. So it ended up with me actually being recognized in the top 5 producing interns in the entire DMV region. And though I didn't get to that $30,000 that I wanted, when I heard about the internship, I did make a very nice amount of money for that summer. And like I said, I was in the top 5 for the entire DMV region. So that was that's how that experience went.
So, I was really proud of you ranking regionally in your sales for this job that you came into with like zero experience in terms of your major was in a completely different field than what this job was for, and you still excelled. And what really I knew when I knew he was doing well when his boss called me one day and asked me to come for lunch, and it's kind of like being called to the principal's office. I'm like, what did he do? Want to go to lunch with me? And so we we sat down, and he sat across the table from me, and he just asked me this one question. The first thing out of his mouth was, how did he get to be so fearless? How did he get to be so fearless? And when he asked that question, I was like, boom, my job as a mother is done. Okay. I was so super proud because to me, you guys, that's the best gift that we can give our children. We equip them with experiences so that even when they find themselves in new situations, in situations that they have not been primed for in the traditional way, they know that they have the confidence to figure it out in real time and they aren't intimidated in those circles, right? And so he went out there and killed it fearlessly, which was something I was just super proud of. And I think that is something that we can all use as inspiration, all of us in business. You have to approach this thing with a fearless mindset. So let me ask you, Guy, what does make you fearless in those situations too? I mean, his type of sales that he was doing to get to that, top 5 in the region, it was like cold calling. It wasn't all, it was relationship building. It was some leads, but a lot of those leads you had to get yourself. Some of it is just you're hearing no all the time. How do you get to the point where those no's don't kill you? You survive the no's and you still come back fearlessly moving forward until you get that next sale.
You try to think about the yeses. For me, I mean, I understood when I took the job that it was going to be a grind, especially for everybody. And they drilled that into us, but especially for me, that was younger, that was coming from a completely, I don't want to say different perspective, but was coming at this without being a subject matter expert, like a lot of people that I was directly competing against. Right. So, I knew it would be a grind, but I think one of the things that also helped me, which I kind of referenced earlier, I didn't go into too much details though, but one of the things that helped me was just my framing of everything, just the lens. I think everybody has a unique lens that they look at all of life through, right? And you talk about this in your masterclass, and I know that because I've been a part of it extensively, right? And it's when you say a number, how confident are you when you say that number? If that number sounds like a lot to you, it's going to sound like even more to the person whose ear it hits, right? So I had been in those rooms. I had understood that multi-million-dollar deals are going down and people are selling products that, for absurd amounts of money that my peers probably had not been privy to yet. So when I said a number, I was able to say it confidently. I was able to say it directly. And I was able to really say it to them and say it in a way that relates to them. So I think that was one of the things that stuck apart because, I had been in the room of high level conversation before, whereas some of my peers just hadn't.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Absolutely. And Charlie made a great remark here that I just wanted to highlight. She said, I love that you're talking about not just giving him busy work to do with the business, but being intentional about teaching him the business and investing in his learning and application of what he was learning. Clearly, he has generalized this learning to other areas of life. Absolutely. Yeah. 1,000%. 1,000%. Did you want to comment on that, Guy? Any?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's gotten to the point. I mean, right now we're talking about, 4 or 5 years ago, right? And I'm sure we'll get to present day, but I mean, it's gotten to the point now where I go on job interviews, and one of the main things that they ask about is my experience with Inside Unlimited. So it's been amazing.
Mm-hmm. Now, let me just also say, when you also got your own entrepreneurial bug, right? Because when you started college, what did you do?
So when I got to Virginia State, just a little bit about me. I've gotten better now, but I used to be terrible with my phones. I'd always drop them and break them. I would then have to, beg mom or dad for money because I didn't have enough of my own, right? Or go to my bank account and pull it out, right, to be able to fix my phones. But when I got to college, I was like, you know what, I'm 18 now. I don't need to be phoning at home every time I need something. So I broke my phone. Didn't have enough money to fix it, didn't want to empty out my bank account to fix it, right? So I went to YouTube, learned how to fix it. Once I did that, a couple of my friends asked me to fix their phones. The natural salesman entrepreneur that I am, I said I would do it before a fee. And it just spiraled from there. I ended up having a smartphone repair shop, which I called Guys Quick Fixes. I did the marketing, I did advertising, I priced all my tools. I self-taught when new phones hit the marketplace because, I didn't have this isn't scripted, but this phone is a lot different to fix than this phone, right? It's just different tools, different parts, and just everything about the phones are different. You need different stuff. So I had to teach myself with every different iteration. I think it was Rochelle saying I definitely did fix her phone.
I hear you. But I love that you ran this business out of your dorm room for years while you're at Virginia. You know, that is like gangster to me. I was just proud of you for doing that, because he was fixing cell phones, he was fixing iPads, and it was a way that he could create revenue for himself while he was in college. I mean, that's absolutely awesome. Yeah. So Valerie asked a great question here. She said, Guy, did you understand what you were learning? For example, when I exposed you to those professional development experiences, is it clear now that you're older? Did it make you think, hey, I can do this?
Yeah, I would say yes and no to did I understand what I was learning? I understood bits and pieces. And I think when we went to that specific session, I had God's quick fixes. So I tried to translate it to my business. It didn't really fit too well.
Yeah.
But, I tried to take those and apply them. But I think there's a lot of instances in life where you hear something, it might go to the back of your brain. You might not internalize it, or maybe you do, and it has a certain context. But then down the line, another situation might happen. You might hear something else, and that's when it clicks, right? You might get that knowledge. It might be a conversation that I just had with somebody, and they give me some advice. So that sounds great. I think they mean it like this. And then 5 years later, I learned what they really mean. So I think there were a lot of those situations where I understood it at a certain level, but it started to really click the more and more experience I got, and just the older I got, and with new experiences, things happened, and I got to be exposed to more stuff. So I would say yes, I did get it, but it just clicked on a whole different level the older I got.
And Victoria has a good question too. She asked, Dr. A, did you observe certain strengths and gave God tasks that align with what you needed at any given time? Absolutely, Victoria. And I really think that that this is what we should do as parents when we're aligning our children to that show an interest in business to work in our business. Once again, I don't believe in things down your kid's throat. You find out what their interests are and you feed it. He at an early age exemplified an interest in business, right? And so in terms of him in my business, I saw that he had certain talents. He has a very wonderfully technical mind. I mean, I could never fix a damn iPhone. Please. That would never happen in a million years. Okay. Ever since he was little, he was able to take things apart and put them back together. So he has a very technical mind in that way. And he's also very computer savvy. And so I can figure out some stuff. I'm not the most computer savvy person in terms of working with different software. And so he definitely helped with that early on. And obviously he has a wonderful gift and great skills development over years that he has trained and developed in terms of sales and speaking. And so he has filled all of those different roles for me in my business in terms of sales. And when I did live events, he would speak from the stage. So you find those talents that they have, intersect them with the needs of your business, like what Charlie said, not giving them busy work. Because everybody knows when they get busy work. Who wants busy work? Nobody wants that. I mean, really, people rise up to the level of responsibility that you give them. I truly believe that. I truly believe that. If they have the talent, if they have the desire, you want to challenge people. And I have to say that he has risen up, not only met, but exceeded my expectations in terms of what he has produced inside of my business. It's just been beautiful to see his development over the years. That's a great question. Any thoughts about that one, Guy?
Yeah, it's actually interesting because from my perspective, I would have thought you would have said no. I would have thought, because it really felt like I was the one that was asking to do certain tasks. But it's interesting because when you asked the question, I really wanted to know what the answer was, because, I thought I was the one going after different tasks, but to hear that you saw different things in me and then align those with kind of what I was exposed to is incredible. I really thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. So let's talk a little bit, you guys, about how I think we kind of established that this, don't worry about that. Guy is at his dad's house right now, and that's his little baby sister in the background, who is very dramatic. She should come on and say hi. Um, so what I will say right now is that, we've kind of established, and we can talk about this some more, but we've pretty much established that this is good for your children. I am encouraging you, if you are a parent, find out what your obviously, what your children's interests are. Don't be afraid to infuse them into your business. It is such a learning experience. To me, just business in and of itself, if you're an entrepreneur, you know that business is it's a personal development tool, period. You have to get to become a better you, to become a better entrepreneur. And so it is a good experience for your children to be involved in your business. It will help them in so many ways, probably more than you can even imagine right now. But beyond that, I want you to also know it helps your business. Literally, it helps your business. It helps your business. Even if your child doesn't happen to be like a great at sales like Guy does, even if it's just that they are your reason for making sure that your business is successful, that in and of itself is motivating for you and your business. Absolutely. Someone said, unfortunately, won't tell me who this is, but someone says, this is what happens when you speak life into your kids. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. And Deborah says she's starting to bring her son into her business right now. That's great. Starting to love the idea of this and how we can support each other and grow my business and making him an associate. I love that, Deborah. Absolutely. It's so important because let me tell you, he will have experiences and he will be able to draw on and use in so many different ways in his life. And your relationship will be so tight. And, the relationship that you have with your child will get even tighter as you guys are nurturing this project in essence together. That's really what it kind of feels like, but on a much bigger scale, right? But I have to say that for me, Guy and his brother have from the very beginning were very much of my inspiration to make sure that this business worked, to make sure that it didn't fail, because I wanted them to be able to have what they needed. Hey there, Donrell, how you doing? I wanted them to be able to have the lifestyle that I wanted them to experience. And it would have to be through my business. So in essence, they were a motivating factor for me. For those of you who know my story, you know that one of my major goals in my business was to have Guy and his brother go to college completely debt-free based on the strength of my business and been able to do that. I mean, how has that been for you, Guy, to know that you could graduate from Virginia State and not have to pay back one dime in student loans?
I never expected to. You always told me, from as long as I can remember that was the plan, whether it was your business funding it or 9 to 5. I know that was always the plan for you. Now that I'm on the other side and I have my degree, with no debt, I mean, it feels amazing. I probably can't even describe it because I don't know what it feels like to have debt, right? Or to have student loan debts. I mean, to have debt at all, but have student loan debts. A lot of my friends don't have that luxury, and they're okay with that. They never had the option to not have that, other than scholarships. But it's incredible.
Mm-hmm. So, and it was my pleasure and joy. Kitty asked who you work for now. Does he have his own business right now? And does he work with me now? Right. He was working with me all up until he took he went to graduate school at Johns Hopkins. So he's a full-time graduate school student right now. You're exactly right. Dr. Gail, I want you to know that Guy and I have been talking about this. You called it. Dr. Gail, she's like, calls it. Okay. I have been have we not, Guy? Have we not? Yeah. We've been talking about this. So as par normal, Dr. Gail is like the prophet here. She understands what's about to happen. Great job. Absolutely. We've been talking about that. I have to say, you guys, that what that was my joy. That was a big goal of mine when I first started my business, because it was the gift that my father's business gave me. His business allowed me to go to college debt free, and I wanted to be able to do that for my children. But now that and I will, I've done it for Guy. I'll do it for Aiden. He starts college next year. But I have to say, now that he's older, we have different goals. We have different goals for our businesses, right? So Guy, right now you are saving money for your first house, right? For the down payment for your first house. Is that right?
Yes, yes. And I'm not looking at, a house, for me, just for me. I'm looking to buy an investment property. It'll be a quadplex. So I'll live in one section. I'll have three tenants, and then the goal while I'm, in grad school. So the goal is to have essentially a free place to stay, and then if I can get a couple $100 kicked back out for expenses, I mean, a month. That'd be great. So that's what I'm looking for and into right now.
I think that's awesome. And in a sense, that's kind of entrepreneurship because you'll be a landlord.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that I'm excited and very proud of you with that. I know that my initial goal, and we were able to do it, was to make sure you got a debt-free education. My next goal in my business, and I'm able to do it now, is to make sure that you get the down payment for your house. So I want you to save the money that you have saved. You can use that to put that into the house in some way if you need to fix up something or if you want to decorate where you'll be living. But the down payment is on me.
Appreciate it, Mom. That's thank you. I don't know if they know this, if they think this is scripted or something like that, but it's not. She has not told me that yet. But no. I really, really appreciate that. That's incredible.
You are welcome. I don't get a yay.
Thanks, Mom.
So cool to do that, you guys.
Well, I'm not the dramatic one, but it's ticking. I really appreciate it. Really, really do.
You are welcome. You are welcome. You are welcome. And it is because honestly, you guys, it is first of all, he deserves it. He's a wonderful young man. He's been a joy, just a ball of joy in my life since the day he was born. And so he deserves it and so much more. He's put in so much labor into this business. This business would not be where it is if it were not for him, period, bar none, okay? It would not be where it is today if it was not for him and the years of work that he put in before anybody knew anything about what I was doing. And so he deserves it. And it is my pleasure to be able to do this for you. And what I want is for this to be normalcy for our families. When I say our families, I'm talking about Black families. I want this to be normalcy for Black families. I remember when I was in graduate school and reading a whole lot of stuff. I told you my expertise is race, gender, and the economy. One of the reasons why we have this huge racial wealth gap that we have right now, the biggest reasons, is because of the home ownership gap. And one of the ways that white people have an advantage in that home ownership dynamic is that most young white people, when they're buying their first homes, they get their down payments from their parents. That is normalcy in their culture. Okay? It is not normal, to say the least, in our culture. Most of us have to work for years to save enough money to get a down payment if we ever get there at all. Okay? And it's my hope that we get to the point where we become masters of our own economic destiny by starting our businesses, right? And having those businesses be so successful that we can give a head start to our children in life. This should be like a relay race. It's our responsibility to pass the baton to them, not from a dead start, but from them actually being able to start the journey with the running, right? So that when they get it, they can go. That needs to be the goal of your business. So if you're an entrepreneur right now, I want you to think about what your possibilities are with your business. And then 10x them. And then 20x them. And then 50x them. You don't know how big it can be unless you try and keep going. And throughout that entire journey, let your children in on it. His perspective on what's possible is so much bigger than most people his age. Why? Because he's been around it. He's been in those spaces. He's seen how it's done. He's seen what it takes to get it. So he has developed by now this fearlessness that shocked his boss, belief in himself that he can go out there and make it happen, the stick-to-itiveness to not be afraid of no's and to be willing to push through no's to get to yeses. That's what it takes to be successful. I don't care what you do in life. But for all of us entrepreneurs, I want this, what I'm able to do for my son tonight, to be normalcy for all of us, to be normalcy. Because this is an example of the seeds that it takes to build intergenerational wealth. It is not just the money. It is about the experiences that will leave your children fearless and will leave them with an expectations of limitless possibilities and the boldness to go after them. So I don't know, I'm on my high horse on my little sermon here, Guy, but is there is there anything you'd like to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, I want to say, yeah, it was Holly Holiday that said, talked about the tenets of financial freedom, and I mean, it's 100% accurate. My whole life, I feel like not that I feel like you have provided everything, not only to that I need in terms of necessities, but things that have put me ahead. I mean, so much so that, all my peers really come to me when they have business ideas, they want to talk about it, or, if they have, some money and they really want to invest or whatever the case may be. And it's not that I'm the smartest person in the world. I'm definitely not, right? But it's just my lens. I've just been exposed. I understand. I've seen things. There's I don't know if this is a saying, but it takes experience to get experience. And the fact that I was able to use, if nothing else, use the experience that I got from working with you to then be able to go get the corporate experience that is, to be in these rooms with, where I'm meeting these types of people, where I'm got an opportunity to intern Northwestern Mutual, and now I'm getting my MBA straight out of undergrad, which is, I mean, really unheard of. And not just getting my MBA, but in a dual degree master's program, when I just graduated, not even 9 months ago. It really all boils back down to, all the things that you've given me. So you thanked me for being able to contribute to your business, right? And being able to contribute to your business, on a scale that you say you can't quantify now, but the same thing comes back in reverse. And you've really contributed to, I mean, my life, obviously, right? But just my lens and my view of life in such a high amount that I can't even quantify it either. So it's really been a two-way relationship in that way. And I really genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, want to say thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, dear. So let me ask you this question, and we can start to wrap it up here if there aren't any other questions. But what advice would you give to parents out there who are growing their businesses? And let me tell you, we're at a wonderful place, and we're still growing in our business now. We have high goals for our business. We're doing really well with it, but it didn't start here. What I want you to know, he was down from day one. Okay. So if you're just starting your business right now, or if you're in a place where your business is maybe hitting a bumpy road, what advice would you give them about infusing their children into their businesses?
I think one thing that I was able to see, and even though, any parent wants to shield, their children from the hard things that they're going through, you want to struggle in private and come back home like it's, all peaches and rainbows or whatever. But I think letting your children into the struggles that your business is facing really makes them just want to go harder, and you didn't, it's not like you came, I don't know, that your business was struggling. I don't know if your business was struggling, but I know that you did give me enough knowledge to say, I really need this done so I could do what I need to do next. It wasn't just you were giving me tasks, but you were giving me tasks with context so I could feel that I had an input, even if I didn't know what the input was, even if I didn't know how grand the product that I'm producing would be for you and for your company. That being transparent and letting your children know that, I really need this, and if you're willing to help, that's great. If not, I can outsource it, but this money is going to get spent anyway. It's up to you to decide if it's going to be spent on you or if I take the money outside of the family. And also, real quick, I do want to end with that, but real quick, I do want to say, got to give a shout out because someone asked. Yes, I crossed at Virginia State University. I'm a man of Omega Psi Phi fraternity, the new Psi chapter.
These cues, man.
I couldn't let.
I should have known he wasn't going to let an entire live go by without mentioning that he's a Q. I should. Oh my goodness. Oh, you're not wearing. Are you wearing a pin?
Yeah, it's right here. It's right here. I'm sure she saw it.
Okay. See, it was not in the shape of your shield, so I wasn't sure that was a Q pin. But okay. Yeah. Oh my goodness, I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, I love it, you guys. Well, it was. I appreciate you taking the time to do this conversation with me tonight, Guy. I think that people have really gotten a lot from this, and that makes me feel good. I want this to be a trend. Because here, I don't want our businesses to end with us, right? I want our businesses to be passed down from generation to generation. And even if your child is not interested in maybe owning your business one day, at least the experiences that they can have in your business can help them in multiple ways. Maybe it can plant a seed of desire of entrepreneurship in them that can flourish in a way that is in line with their gifts and possibilities and purpose in life. And it will provide them, I guarantee you, with these basic character traits that are absolutely essential for success in life, no matter what path they choose. So I just want to end by saying, I certainly want to encourage each and every one of you who are parents of those beautiful babies out there, to trust them with your dream. Trust them that they want you to succeed. Trust them that they are as brilliant as you are, because guess what? They're your kids. Okay? So you would have to think that they're smart. If you're smart, then they're smart, okay? And then give them clear direction, encouragement, support, and trust them to try, right? And you will be shocked with what they are absolutely able to produce. Not only the things that you tell them to do. Let me just leave this. Let me just also mention this. I said I was going to stop, but I did forget to mention this, and this is very important. This is not just about him just doing what I tell him to do. I want you to know that Guy has developed an amazing business strategy mind, right? Right, Guy? Yeah. So we had discussions about directions in my business, choices I should make, things I should do. And we've had discussions about that. And he has helped me to make critical decisions. Why? Because I value his opinion.
Yeah.
Do you get that sense, Guy, that you've been an integral part of key decision-making moments in the life of this business?
Definitely. And once you see something, one time, it helps you make a better decision the second time. So so it works both ways. I'm taking outside experiences with internships that I've had at the corporate level to then try to relay some of that knowledge. And then we might have, a conversation. And then when I have my next corporate experience, I'm able to relay some of the, entrepreneurial knowledge to that. So it's been, I can't put it in words. You can't describe it, how amazing it is to really have input at the highest level of an organization.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I am loving it. Oh, okay. Kitty, who is also, she's like at VSU in the house. She's saying she wants you to come work at the FDIC when you finish your MBA. That's our VSU sister. All right. I love that. And it's true. I mean, his example. So I'm just saying, if you give your children that rope, you will be so, I will just say this. They will see things in different ways than you see them because they are of a completely different generation. They will have skill sets that you do not have because they are in a different generation, and they have grown up with things that you didn't even get introduced to until you were much older and probably had not the comfort level with it. Let me just say that they do. They are such an asset. Hey there, LaShawn. Now, LaShawn also has brought her children into her business, and they do amazing work. In fact, you have actually taken a professional a course with her son, who has his business, right?
Yeah.
Which is awesome. So, I am just loving this conversation. I promised I was going to be kind of succinct tonight, so I'm going to start to wrap it up. But I just want to say, it's wonderful to have all you on here tonight. It's wonderful to hear such great feedback. I hope that we have inspired you to make sure that you infuse your kids into your business, or if you are an auntie or uncle, bring your nieces and nephews in, because this needs to be a family affair. We need to make sure that our children are equipped to be able to face life with the skill set that they need to be wealth producers. So what is your goal? I'll end with this question. Guy, what is your goal for where you want to be by the time you're 40? Have you thought that far ahead yet?
No, I haven't. I know by the time I'm 30, I think we've had this conversation before, is, I definitely want to be a millionaire by the time I'm 30. I'll be 25 in about 3 weeks. I'm nowhere near that goal right now, but I think it's attainable. I think, between corporate experience, between my real estate thing that I was talking about, between investing that I'm doing, it's just, my goal is to be a millionaire by 30. And then I think I'll take a look at 40.
Okay. All righty. Well, that is awesome. And you can do it. You're in graduate school right now. It's okay to put the pause on the millionaire thing while you're in graduate school. But as soon as you're done next year, we're going to get to work on that. Okay. And I just wanted to highlight here, April. April is one of my amazing clients. She says that my Minnie is the author of, it is the second author on my second children's book, The Exposure Makes Such an Impact. Thank you for this conversation. It is important. It absolutely is important. And April does some amazing work. In fact, we're going to have her on here in one of these little interviews if she'll do me the pleasure, because I'd love for you all to be exposed to what she's doing, because it's so important. Helping people publish children's books. And I love the fact that she has done that with her daughter as her co-author. So that's just another example of infusing your children into your business and giving her daughter this amazing experience of being an author at, how old is she, April? She's probably still in elementary school. She's still a cute little one. Okay. So, please definitely do that. You will not regret it. With that said, you guys, this has been awesome. I have so much enjoyed talking with you tonight. I want to thank you, Guy, for taking the time to talk with Mom. Have you enjoyed yourself?
Yeah, it's been fun. I always love contributing whichever way I can. And, it's honestly a very important conversation. I'm glad we were able to hopefully inspire a few people to bring their children in, give them some ideas about how, and show them that it really does help your business and it helps their children. So thanks for having me, Mom.
You are welcome. It is definitely a win-win. Okay. With that said, it's great talking with you all. I hope you have a wonderful evening. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next time. Take care, guys. Bye.